Good morning. Running a little late this morning. Different things pop up as you're getting ready. But thank you for joining us as we are celebrating the third Sunday after the Sunday of Pentecost. And so, summer is in full swing. The heat is here. The crops, I noticed the corn was already knee-high on Sundays. That's exciting. And the pageant's starting to get ready. And the planning for the pageant suppers is in the mail. So always an exciting time. And so, we continue in the Gospel according to St. Matthew with verses in Matthew 9 and 10. So let us begin with a word of prayer. Good morning. God of compassion, you have opened the way for us and brought us to yourself. Pour your love into our hearts, that overflowing with joy, we may freely share the blessings of your realm and faithfully proclaim the good news of your Son, Jesus Christ, our Savior and Lord. Amen. So our gospel for Sunday is from Matthew 9, verse 35 through chapter 10, verse 8. Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the good news of the kingdom and curing every disease and every sickness. When he saw the crowds, he had compassion for them because they were harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore ask the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest." Then Jesus summoned his 12 disciples and gave them authority over unclean spirits to cast them out and to cure every disease and every sickness. These are the names of the 12 apostles. First Simon, also known as Peter, and his brother Andrew, James, son of Zebedee, and his brother John, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the tax collector, James, the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, Simon the Canaan, and Judas Iscariot, the one who betrayed him. These 12 Jesus sent out with the following instructions. Go nowhere among the Gentiles, enter no town of the Samaritans, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. As you go, proclaim the good news. The kingdom of heaven has come near. Cure the sick, raise the dead, cleanse the lepers, cast out demons. You received without payment, give without payment. The gospel of our Lord. Again, thank you for joining us. So we start with the Bible study here. After Jesus is baptized, he spends time being tested and being prepared in the wilderness. Once his ministry is launched, he proceeds to call his disciples, trains them about his mission. Jesus expands his mission outreach efforts by commissioning and sending the disciples. So what is important for Jesus to teach his disciples in their first year together? Well, I think, among other things, is to teach them his authority, teach them that he does have the right to be teaching, that he is one they should be listening to, and that when he says something, it's real. It's just not something he's making up. And then after that, to learn the message they're sent with is the kingdom of heaven is come near. To be able to proclaim that heaven is near, the kingdom is here. And so to be able to understand that. Not much different than any other job you have on in the job training where they teach you the things you know before you're sent out to work with customers or work with students or work with patients. It's always good to have that learning time. Okay, in the Gospel of Matthew, by the end of chapter 9, Jesus is heavily engaged in teaching, proclaiming the good news, and curing illnesses. He has compassion for those he meets on his travels, because they are harassed and helpless, like sheep without a shepherd. So what does it feel like to be harassed and helpless? Well, part of it is you get blown around by whatever thing comes your way. Sometimes that's the way life is you have so many things coming at you that you just have to go and wherever they put you. And it's also not being in control, having life control you. and being directionless. Which way do you go? How do you know what to do? Which I think leads into what does it mean to be a sheep without a shepherd? Is sheep just wander. I know they talked about that sheep, I think it was in Australia, that was lost for 3 years, and they found him in a thicket with like 300 to 500 pounds of wool on him, but he was stuck because he didn't know where to go. He just wandered. And I've been told sheep will also, if you let them stay in one place, will eat everything to the ground until it's gone before going to the next place. And so there's no thought of tomorrow about making sure there's food when you come back to this place. Okay, well, Jesus sees a great need and hunger in people as he travels throughout the cities, villages, and countryside. He compares it to a harvest time when the crop is ready and the laborers are needed. If there are not enough laborers to maximize the moment, then the full benefit of the time is lost. Jesus believes prayer is the first step. To pray is to acknowledge a need for assistance, particularly in dealing with people who have needs. The laborers of Christ still need a shepherd, Jesus says. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Therefore, ask the Lord of the harvest to send out laborers into his harvest. It is not just laborers who are needed, but those open to labor for Jesus. So how might prayer assist in getting laborers? Well, prayer helps center us, focus us, remind us who we are and who we're in relationship with. That God is the shepherd, that God is the one who is above us, and we're not the ones who control the land. And why might the Lord be concerned about the harvest? Well, I think it goes back to the sheep without a shepherd. Is sheep in the field without anybody guiding them can't be sheared, they can't be used for their purpose. And when the harvest comes, if there's nobody to guide people to their purpose, they just wander aimlessly and becomes lost or wasteful. And so the Lord is concerned about the harvest because there's so many people who are in need to hear words of good news and hope. Okay, well, God has blessed Jesus with laborers, his disciples. Thus Jesus gathers his own disciples, whom he has called, and gives them the authority to heal. It's interesting to note that the disciples listed in Matthew 10, 2-4 are in pairs. Perhaps these are the missionary team sent by Jesus. What would it feel like to be a student of Jesus, commissioned to heal and cast out demons? It would be scary to be sent out on your own to do something that you've only seen your rabbi, your teacher do. I mean, we think about Peter walking on the water. He does it for a moment, but then it's overwhelming and he sinks. And I imagine it'd be similar to being sent out to heal and cast out unclean spirits. And I still remember when I worked at a retail store, they were running out of cashiers, and so they called me up to the register and said, push these 2 buttons, and if anything goes wrong, good luck. And it's a scary feeling to be doing it on your own. And so is this our calling today? How so? Well, I think that's the hard part today. Normally we don't have a lot of healing or casting out of demons within the church. But we do have a ministry of reconciliation, which is healing souls, healing relationships. So we're still called to send that out, to heal relationships with God and with one another. And it's the hard thing to watch in the world today, to see how many are disconnected from others. And they don't have a sense of hope or of tomorrow or something bigger than themselves. And are in need of that healing, that calling, that love. So describe how you imagine the life of the disciples during their first year with Jesus. I don't even know what the first year was, if it was just the first year, but they were just confused quite a bit. They were probably very excited though. I mean, Here they are following a rabbi, being special students of him, who's drawing crowds of thousands. And wherever he goes, people are excited to know that this one who's teaching you has cured the sick and raised the dead. I mean, that would just be overwhelming. Trying to figure out what this meant, but also exciting to know that you are part of it. Not only part of it, but you have a special part because you're one of his chosen special few. Well, Jesus gives clear instructions to his disciples to not interact with Gentiles. The time is not right to harvest that crop. Jesus places priority on the Jews and requests his disciples to begin their work with them in very specific ways. He mandates, as you go, proclaim the good news. The kingdom of heaven has come near. Cure the sick, raise the dead, cleanse the lepers, and cast out demons. Plus, do it without pay. So what is the most surprising aspect of the commissioning of the disciples? I think it tells us what kind of God we're following, one that is willing to take the power that is his and share it with others. To take that mission and calling that he has, that he's being driven by, and share it, trust it to others. And realizing that that continues even to our day, that this mission is trusted to us. And I don't know about you, but I always have in front of me the failings, the things I could do better. And yet Jesus feels comfortable enough to trust the disciples and us with this message. Okay, well, now we come to the word among us. Homer's home congregation was struggling, no doubt about it. There's controversy over the color of the new women's bathroom, hymns sung at worship, even about where to allow the children to drink their punch after worship. All aspects of church life seemed such hard work. It appeared to Homer like his beloved congregation had lost its focus and mission. So the first question is, what advice would you give Homer? The biggest one is be patient and to be calm. I mean, in the midst of arguing and controversy, sometimes having somebody who seems to be above the fray to be calm can be contagious and allow the others to become calm, to be able to step back and realize where they're at. And also be true to the calling you think you have. I mean, people see that. I know that's one of the things that always amazes me about St. Paul's writings, is he says about Holy Communion, as often as you eat and drink, you are proclaiming the risen Christ until he comes again. It doesn't require you to have the right words. It requires you to keep doing. And so keep following that calling. Keep following that calling to declare kingdom of heaven has come near. Love and reconcile others. And hope that others will catch on. But most of all, be calm and patient. Getting angry, getting upset only just builds the controversy. So if a congregation loses its focus on mission, what can be done? Again, it's just trying to refocus, trying to find ways to point in the direction of mission, trying to find opportunities. The argument I got with my daughter the other day was finding teachable moments in which you can use these things to teach where we should be going or what we could be doing. And describe a congregation centered on the mission of Jesus Christ. I think, first of all, it has to be a congregation that loves one another, loves everybody who's gathered. It doesn't mean we always get along, but we realize that being together is more important than anything that divides us. I mean, it's so easy to find things to divide us, but to find that Jesus is what joins us together and that nothing can break that down as part of the community is so important. The next part of the congregation centered on the mission of Jesus Christ is, and then once you do that, to look outside, see what's needed in your community, see what's needed in your world. See how you can be sent out to be able to share this message, to be this message to others. And others see the excitement too, and it just can build once you get there. Okay, well, Homer's grandson lived out of state. He had fond memories of summers spent with his grandfather, so he pursued his first job after college graduation in Homer's hometown. Proudly, Homer took his grandson to church, but he became embarrassed by all the bickering heard before and after worship. Over lunch, Homer shared his profound sadness about his congregation, which had lost its way despite the profound needs of his community. He had a sense of urgency as he expressed concern over his church's apathy. It was his grandson who suggested beginning with prayer. They committed to pray daily for a change of direction for Homer's church. So how might prayer impact the situation? Just off the top of my head, there's two major ways it impacts. One is you're praying to someone who actually can do something. I mean, in prayer, you're saying you're trusting God to help with this, something that is beyond our control. The second part is you're centering yourself on God. You're putting your trust in God. You're receiving that peace as you pray, which then becomes part of what your life is. So how do you explain a congregation which loses its way? Well, I think usually when I see the congregation losing its way, it usually starts with a few people who think they're important, that they understand better what the congregation needs rather than seeing what we can do together as a group. It's a good idea to give advice, to say we should be doing this, but again, it's more important to look at doing what you can do together, because you want to bring everybody along with you. And if everybody can't come along with you, then it divides and it becomes a bit of bickering. Again, when we come together, it's the sense of fellowship, the body of Christ. I mean, we each all have different gifts, and you realize that even the smallest or most unrecognizable gifts are just as important as all the others. So how might some new members change the direction of the congregation? It's the hard part. One of the ways is people will see that nobody's coming in and start wondering what's going on. The other way is if they come in with some excitement, if they come in with some possibility, sometimes that can be contagious. The idea of being able to see something other than what's been going on can be catchy and shared with others. Well, Jesus compared the opportunities of his day to the harvest time. He was well aware of the urgency associated with the season of harvest. There's no time or reason to procrastinate. Jesus knew workers were needed to do specific tasks in a timely manner. So how is it harvest time in your community? Well, we still have people who are broken, who are isolated from others, who don't have a sense of community or belonging to anything or anyone. We still have hunger. We still have some homelessness. Most of all, I think we have people who are just lost and harassed, who don't have a sense of being or belonging. And we get a chance to go into that. And another sense of harvest time is in Walnut Grove, we have the pageant. We have everybody gearing up for that, realizing that we have these people from around the country and around the world coming to see us and how we can be impactful in the way that we greet them and act around them. So how does your congregation understand and implement the mission of Christ? Well, I think first it's gathering together. And then it's trying to see what needs we can fulfill and trying to do that. Okay, in order to expand on his mission, Jesus called his disciples and sent them out by twos. They were asked to do tasks beyond their human powers. Specifically, they were asked to cure, raise the dead, cleanse lepers, even cast out demons. They could do none of this without God's Spirit empowering them to do so. Jesus continues to call disciples to be sent out on his mission, to do those things beyond their human capabilities. There is such a need as people search for meaning and healing in their lives. Today, no matter the season of the year, it is harvest time. So what does it mean to you to partner with Jesus Christ in mission? Well, again, as we've been saying, it's to center on him, to realize and trust and have faith in him. I mean, otherwise, we too become like Peter more often than not, and we sink and we feel overwhelmed, and it's hard to get out and tell others the good news, to share the good news with others. The other is to trust that he is beyond ourselves, and we can do more than we think we can. You know, as a pastor, I know that was one of the scary things of getting up and talking in front of people. You know, most people are amazed the fact that my first sermon sent me to the emergency room because of a panic attack. You know, it's amazing what you can do. And there's others who have other gifts that they can do and share with others through the strength of Christ. Okay, well, I think that concludes our Bible study. Again, you're welcome to join us for worship this Sunday. We are at 9 o'clock at Our Savior's in Dovry and 9 o'clock at English in Walnut Grove for our worship services for the summer. Tonight, if you're on council, we're getting excited. We have our joint council meeting for English and St. Olaf, looking at what we can do as God's mission. I think those are the big things going on this week. And so, but again, thank you for joining us and keeping our congregation in your prayers. Let us pray. Christ, thank you for calling me to follow you and serve as your disciple. Help me to grasp your mission and ways to partner with you. Amen. If you'd like to dig deeper, our second reading for Sunday is Romans chapter 5, 1 through 8. And the last word is each day prayerfully ponder the opportunities to partner with Jesus in mission. Again, thank you for joining us, and God be with you, and God bless you.